But
hey, I've got a political thing that we can all have fun with. How about the Obama guy on Tucker?
Well, this is great because one thing everyone could agree on is Obama has sucked a white dick. Obama, we already saw his letters a few weeks ago where they were saying he's gay. I have a thing with Obama, non-politically. When Obama was out, I was obsessed with him. Obongo, I called him.
Oh my God, Cardi B's new song Bongo is released tonight.
Is it out yet?
Let's see.
Not out. Put on bongos.
It'll be in a couple
I
hours.
was so I used to call Obama Obongo, okay, like a racist bongo thing. I had thought I came up with that myself. Let me know. Did other people call Barack Obama Obongo?
Oh yeah, who said that recently?
And it was so great when Obama was in office because I didn't even know from right versus left. I didn't even know what side Obama was on. I didn't even know what that was. I just hated him because of his race. No. I made fun of him because of his race. This is the first black president, so we need some first black president jokes to be created. One of those where he was going, I am a banger. Like it's funny if he had a voice like that, where he was an out of control, very low grade black person. And when I got that Obama mask, remember that big smile, which you probably can't even wear anymore, a plastic Obama mask. Remember, I shoved the cupcake in my mouth.
That's
I didn't even know.
I most often see on Reddit as an example of you being racist.
Does anyone have it? I didn't even know that was racist.
I don't mean either.
To shove a cupcake and, but we just thought it was funny. But we called him Obongo. I was shocked because last week I was listening to a guy named, a right-wing anon named...
BAP.
What does that stand for?
Bronze Age pervert.
Bronze Age perverts. So see, I listen to these Bronze Age perverts. And he goes, yes, it's very similar, like with Obongo, President Obongo. And I go, Obongo, did he learn that from me or did other people call this man Obongo? Well, the latest news is that President Obama, and why doesn't he have to respond to any of this, is that he's a full flaming homester.
I know Obama just gets to remain in secrecy and post his stupid song list. Let's hear.
I don't understand why Obama doesn't have to be involved in all this. You were the president. You did all this stuff, and then you just bounce and you're just vacationing. Like, what does he do? You should have to be on Twitter every day in the weeds with everybody else. I don't like how Obama and, furthermore, his buddy, what was his name? George Bush! I don't like how these guys get to just chill. If you're president, you got to be on call, I think, forever. I don't like that all this stuff's going on with Obama. He doesn't have to chime in. He should have to chime in daily with his take on all the action that's going on. But here's the latest, and here's another guy. This is a guy that makes me sick to my stomach. And it's not because he's a conservative. Well, a lot of it is. Tucker Carlson. This one makes me so sick and sad because you see people think that Tucker's badass. Tucker's cool. Guys, Tucker is no better than any fool on our roster. And that's the kind of guy that it's like, you can't really attack him because they think you're doing it for some political reason. Tucker's a liar. He's a con man. He's Logan Paul. Logan Paul levels of lie. But he's badass because he hates the left. He hates the left, man. Him and Elon and Tucker. You guys, please don't listen to anything out of Tucker's mouth. We saw it here live when Tucker lied about Josh Denny. Here's one that we couldn't possibly agree on more, right? We all agree Josh Denny is not who he says he is, right? He's a liar, a con man, a thief, criminal liar. Like, we despise Josh Denny more than anybody on this planet. Tucker took Denny's lies and shared them. When Denny lied about his show of being canceled and how that all went down, his stand-up show.
Antifa.
Tucker went on there and just lied. Tucker went on with Andrew Tate and pretended he had never heard a thing about Tate before. Him and Candace Jones, they just pretend, oh, Tate must have been set up. This is a good guy. And if Tucker's sitting down with Tate, laughing it up and finds no issues with him and doesn't question him about anything, well, then everybody watching goes, well, Tucker wouldn't sit down with Tate and be his buddy if Tate was up to something, so Tate's good. We live in a world now where people think Tate has done nothing wrong. And I gave you my speech. You're allowed to like Tate and be entertained by him. And at the same time, know that he's a criminal mastermind. But people in this country, if you like somebody, you want to pretend they haven't done any crimes. Not me. I like criminals. This is the confusing part for people. Andrew Tate is a legit criminal. He's scary and he should scare you. What he does for a living should repel you. But you should also think he's cute, sweet, funny.
That's how he was able to do all the crimes.
That's how he was able to do all the crimes. And you could still think that. You're still allowed to go, yeah, but he still has to go to jail. Mm-hmm. Okay? He has to go to jail if we want to live in any sort of society that works. But they don't want to be able to do two different things. So if you think he's cute, funny, and entertaining, then you're going to lie to yourself and join the team of people who have now diluted reality by saying, Tate's actually done nothing wrong. I can't believe, man, he's been really set up. You know he wasn't set up. We've all been following this since day one. But all of a sudden now Tate is nice and he's a sweet guy. Wait, show me George Janko. Pull up George Janko because this is perfect here. You got to see what George Janko's doing. And again, you don't even have to be anti-Tate, but you have to be pro-reality. You have to go, here's a guy, I like him a lot. He's also a sex trafficking convict. And he could be both. And that doesn't mean if he's in prison, do you hate him? You can still love him in prison. But he has to be in prison, right?
He's going to kill it in there.
Let me show you this. Because this is what I mean about the world becoming this new thing that I find to be really, really scary. Do I have Janko yet?
Yeah.
But Tucker Carlson claims, 200 million views. I mean, this guy is so bad. He's lying directly to your face. But he did have on a very truthful guest. I like this. This is something I agree on, and it's not Tucker. It's this old guy. Is he a next up here?
Yep.
When Tweezer, Obama, gay guy, and Tucker. Okay, here it is. Twitter video. Will it work on the show? Let's find out. Here he is. Let's see how many. 28.4 million views, of course. Easy as pie. Larry Sinclair says he has had a night of crack cocaine-fueled sex with Barack Obama. What time should I go to?
You can go to 2:55 is when the guy comes out.
Wait till you see this, because I do kind of like this Obama being gay stuff. And
you know it's like, it reminds me of the good old days.
And I just like that there's a whole news cycle about that he sucked a dick. That's a news story. Now, that's, of course, we're interviewing to find out how his dick got sucked.
If he had sex with a girl, would this be news?
I don't know, but I guess it's news, and it's been covered by everybody as if it's real news. Here's Tucker. And by the way, Tucker hasn't seen the woods or a creek in 15 years. People fall for this fact. They're like, Tucker's pretty cool because he lives like out in the beautiful woods. It's like, you really think he has a creek right next to his podcast studio? The thing would go into the creek. You know how dangerous that would be? That creek would overflow. It would ruin the equipment. Nobody has a creek, a babbling brook next to their window. I hope you know that. These are TV screens covered by wood to make it look like a window. Do you think some people think that's the real city of Tucson behind me? The most populated city in the world, Tucson. Bigger than Tokyo, which is what that is. If anyone needs a good background image of buildings, just pick Tokyo.
It's the best one we checked.
It's just building on top of building on top of building. You can't really make it out. All right, here it is. Obongo being a homo. Some pretty sick stuff revealed here.
Studio, and we're happy to have him. Larry Sinclair, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Where did you meet Barack Obama?
It was by accident. I was in the Chicago area.
Hey, he's wearing wrist guards just like me.
That's how you look. That's what Mike looks like in bed, literally.
I have to wear these wrist guards at night sometimes.
And see his nail? That's what Mike's toenails.
No, don't tell them that. See, anytime you joke, and she did this during the symposium, on any other show, you would have to believe, they'll believe it, Jules. You can't make any sort of joke like that.
He cuts them so jaggedly that they're like a knife.
Well, that's
it's a blade.
Fine. They're not long at all. They're very normal. What should I be doing down there? Anyway, I have to wear these wrist guards at night because all of a sudden, in the last year and a half, I'll wake up 10 times a night with my hands being numb. They've fallen asleep. My body's asleep. My hands are really asleep, tingling and numb because I find myself sleeping like this, sleeping like that. And you're smashing, and especially after a night of powerlifting, doing all these hammer curls like I do. For some reason, that leads to this numbness. So if you wear these wrist guards, it keeps your hands straight, less numbness, but they're very uncomfortable. I've gone through 16 different brands. I wonder what brand he's got. Does anyone else have this problem where you're waking up at night where your fucking hands are asleep and you got to shake them off? And what could be done about that besides wrist guards, which really don't seem to work anymore? I'm still bending through the guard. It's not going to stop it. I would need a very strong cast to keep these hands straight. Okay, here he is. Pretty cool guy. He does seem to have... Here's the guy who's claiming he had sex with Obama. It's a white guy. How old is this guy? 60? He's got missing teeth. Do we trust a guy with the missing... I watched this whole thing. We're not going to watch this whole thing, but I watched it. I believe him. Don't you? Do you believe the guy on Tucker?
Seems like he's telling the truth to me.
If he's not telling the truth, he's great at telling a lie. And to be great at telling a lie is almost as good as telling the truth. My problem with people like Tate, Logan, and the liars, Josh Denny, they're so bad at lying. They blatantly just lie in front of our faces. It aggravates me. If you're going to lie, do it like this guy, if this is a lie, and do it perfectly, where you go, he's telling the truth.
99 for Lee Duke's graduation from the Naval Academy.
Who's Lee Duke?
He's basically my godson.
Okay.
I had hired a limousine service.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you live in Chicago then?
No. I was actually living in Colorado. I had flown in the night before.
Okay.
So, had hired a limousine service, had made the driver aware that if Lee couldn't leave the base, because once they graduate, some of them actually get their assignments and they're shipping out and they can't leave the base, that I was still interested in going.
So you just look at this, Tucker on X. So you're just doing a show on X?
On ecstasy.
I really don't like that. I really don't like how this is all headed.
And had asked the driver if he knew anybody that was available that might want to show me, Chicago. And he said he did. So
who was the driver?
His name was Jamir Motani.
See this river? Tucker's got a
That's
flowing
like a fake
river.
name that you would make up.
What is his name?
Jamir Motami.
Jamir Motami. Yes, the driver. Yeah, he hooked us up. This is a full river here. That's way too close to the podcast studio section of the house. Like, wouldn't you have your kitchen facing the river? Where's the kitchen?
Just a pick, right?
Well, look, it moves.
It was with 5-star limo.
Okay, back to Obama.
So you're just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party, actually.
Yeah.
That's what you're really saying.
Yeah. Well, I was in town for a few nights, but yeah, I was definitely looking to party.
You were in my city?
And
did you make that clear to the driver?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was no misunderstanding.
How direct were you about that?
Extremely.
Just so you know when I move on from here, by the way.
There was no doubt what I...
We're at, oh boy.
It's at the other side.
4:35, 4:25.
You can just keep playing it for a
was
second.
looking for.
Okay.
Wait till you hear what he did to
Me
Obama.
up at my hotel in Gurney and drove into Chicago, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. It was literally that casual. That
Had you ever heard of him?
No.
Did the driver know him?
Yep. The driver definitely knew him because the driver said that he was a friend.
Interesting. How would the driver be friends with Barack Obama?
Because he's the president.
I found out later, dealing with a reporter from Bloomberg News, that apparently the limousine company had been doing business with Tony Resco.
Oh.
That at the time.
Oh, you know that person?
Somehow
Tony Resco.
affiliated
Was
with
in
Barack
Obama's
Obama.
orbit.
Yeah.
Resco.
Interesting. So he knew Barack Obama, and in his view, Barack Obama liked the same kind of partying you were looking for.
Yep.
Okay. So sex and drugs and upwards.
Well, the sex part I wasn't so sure about until, of course, you make your move, but it became obvious very quick. The
I believe
coke
him.
part I thought
coke?
was interesting because of the
coke
way
part.
that I had brought it up.
So I'm stepping on your story. So you pull, and I apologize. So you pull up to this bar. The driver is basically scouting.
Imagine you wake up and somebody's done a 41-hour, 28 million viewed interview about how a guy sucked your dick. Imagine that. Imagine you wake
He
up.
just gets to hide. I feel like
Obama must respond. I want Obama reacting to this on like a Hassan Anabi type stream that Obama runs. Obama, it's time. Get to the desk. You need to do a reaction video to this, and you can because they're talking about you. It's fair use. I want Obama reacting. He can't keep silent about this. There's a guy, 41-minute interview, claiming that he sucked your dick and did crack and coke with you. Imagine sucking Obama's dick. It's enough to drive any man sick. Listen to this. Should I keep playing from here?
What time is it at?
This is at 5:50.
Yeah, keep going.
Some dude for you to hang out with.
Correct.
There's this guy, Barack Obama. Have you ever heard of Barack Obama?
Never. Okay. Never. We're having drinks.
You can skip to 7:30. So he meets up with Obama, and then they decide they should go get Coke together, and they go and get
Really?
Coke.
They decide that they should. So they get picked up in Barack Obama's car with
They go back
Barack's
in the
driver.
limo, they're driving around. They go get some Coke.
7 what?
7:30.
So far down there. So far down there. Yeah, so they're driving around in the limo, Barack and his driver, and he goes, let's get some Coke.
That was made clear. Yeah.
Did he say what kind of issues?
No.
Do you remember? No. So you said, I'm looking for someone to wake up. He knows you're referring to cocaine. I know where to get it. What happens next?
We get back in the limo. The driver takes us wherever it is that Barack had instructed him to take us.
The Entourage
I
nightclub?
had given Barack $250 to pay for Coke.
Damn.
He gets out, comes
$250?
back.
Obama can't pay.
Wait, $250 for two guys? That's a lot. When I was doing Coke, it was $30 a bag for the good stuff.
Yeah, and what year was this?
And that was a lot of money to me. I go, this Coke's expensive. $30 for the whole night's worth? For 4 guys? Are you kidding me? That's going to put me under. Everybody was, but yeah, I guess $250 for a bag of Coke. That could be a lie. What year was this?
Like 1999.
99? $250? How much Coke would you get for $250 in 99? That's a lot, right? I've never spent $250 on Coke. The most I've ever spent, $35. And that was a lot. I mean, that was a bag about this big. From the toilet man at the Entourage nightclub. You'd go in there, you'd knock on the stall. He'd be in there and he'd go, yeah. I go, thank you, you Mexican. That was my first friendship with a Mexican, was buying cocaine. And it probably wasn't the best stuff. Now that I'm hearing $250. Wow. 1999, $250 for 2 people.
I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort.
And you're in the limo.
So this is interesting. Why would you have a CD tray in the back of Barack's limo? I've been in a lot of fancy limos, They don't have CD players in the back. That's in the front, right? You would keep your...
They usually let you use the controls in the back. There's like an extra...
CD tray. I'm just trying to... now that I'm hearing this for a second time, I'm thinking CD tray. Would you have that in the back of a limo for Barack? A Barack limo? Maybe. What CD was it?
Right? To snort.
And you're in the limo.
Yep.
Driving or parked?
No, the driver's driving.
Yep.
I start to put a line on a CD tray, and I just happen to notice that he pulls something else out of his pocket. And next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I don't have an issue with it. I mean, some people smoke, some people snort.
Smoking the cocaine?
Yes. So
Did he take it from your line? Do you put the line on a CD tray? Did he pinch some of it and put it in a pipe and then try to light pure coke? Is that how it works?
Maybe they had each a separate little baggie for $2.50.
Maybe. I've never smoked coke. That sounds seedy.
I'm doing a line, I just start, this is the part where you kind of make your move to see where things are going. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
So why would you want to touch his disgusting bony black thigh? You touched Barack Obama's thigh. I mean, until now, I can't even believe he has a thigh. Or a lap. So Barack Obama, and you're just rubbing his thigh to see if he's okay.
So the night became somewhat active sexually and drug-wise in the limo.
So you hit on him. Did he seem shocked by that?
Not at all.
Ooh, wait.
Well, so...
Oh. I do, and I'm not trying to make a case for this. I want this to be as true as grass is green, but I don't know. Full sip? Let's see that again.
Did he seem shocked by that?
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean...
Ooh. Eyes are open, not pointed down at the glass. Usually if you're lying, you go like this. Yeah, not at all. Have I done? But this guy remained eye contact. So he's good.
Did you remember, did Obama speak to you at all during this? I'd like to hear you do a little impression.
Dude, this guy's fucking ripped too. If I had, this guy's ripped, dude. Now that I'm looking at him, is this guy ripped or small? Looks bigger than Callen. Wait till you see how puny Brian Callen's become coming up.
And if you're smoking crack with a stranger in the back of a limo, you got to imagine things might go crazy places.
Well, not only imagine it.
That crazy.
I look at it this way. I've done a lot of crazy things in my lifetime. I'm a pretty good judge of character.
Then arrest him.
I pretty much know.
He's admitting it. Arrest
whether
him.
or not I can move in a certain.
See, kids don't know that. Kids are like, then why isn't he arrested? You're admitting to doing crazy things in your life that were illegal, then arrest him. He's admitted it. They don't do that somehow.
Certain direction with an individual. I didn't feel that I was going in the wrong direction. I just wasn't so sure how much I could trust the individual at first. And that was probably one of my bigger concerns. But the fact that I was already becoming somewhat buzzed, you kind of throw caution to the wind.
You weren't sure you could trust the individual. What does that mean?
When you meet someone out of the blue and you go to a level that you're doing drugs with, or you're giving money to purchase drugs, or even for sexual activity, you have to be sure that you can trust them. And when I say trust, I mean that you're not going to end up being robbed, or that you're not going to end up having a knife stuck into you, from one direction or another, or that you're not going to pull up somewhere and all of a sudden the car door is going to open and you got 5 people pulling you out of it.
Totally.
That's what I mean.
I like that.
Trust.
What time should I go to here?
11 minutes.
11 minutes. Wait till you hear the gory details of Obama's cock. 11, like my favorite Stranger Thing. She's growing up nicely.
So it's not like this was something that he wasn't into. It's not something that he was shocked by. Shocked by, you don't get excited and you don't unbutton your pants and you don't just sit there and let it happen.
Yeah.
So it definitely wasn't Barack's first time. That much I'm absolutely certain of. And I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't his last.
Ooh. So you performed oral sex on Barack Obama. You did.
Wow.
In the driver's up front?
Yep.
And he's cool with this?
The driver has the partition up. He didn't have a problem with it. He didn't put it down for any reason.
I mean, he kind of set up the whole thing for this in the first place.
Exactly. And I have a funny feeling he had no bones to pick with it as far as what took place in it.
Yeah. So what happened after?
Afterwards, I actually went back to my hotel. I had specifically asked that he drop Barack off first, but for some reason, he and Barack chose that they would drop me off at the hotel first, and then he would take Barack. So Barack actually made the drive out to Gurnee, which is
Gurnee, Illinois,
outside
Six Flags,
of Chicago, to the hotel.
So that is probably at night, hour and 20 minutes away. You should see they've got this town. Believe it or not, it's called Gurnee. This town is famous in Illinois. If you're from Chicagoland like me, it's famous for Six Flags Great America. It was in Gurnee. That's how you first learn about Gurnee as a kid in Chicagoland. They have Six Flags. The second time you hear about it is because they've got an outlet mall called the Gurnee Mills, where your parents think they're getting a deal on some Nikes for you. Nothing more sickening than a outlet mall. Please, you're not going to find anything good there. Oh, I was at the Banana Republic at the outlet mall. Oh, it's all crap nobody could sell. Wake up! All right, was there anything else here? He basically told the whole story.
He sucked his dick, then he came back to his hotel for round 2. You want to hear that part?
Sure, where's that?
12:30.
12:30. Okay, we could keep playing.
For me to be dropped off.
What hotel was that?
It was the Comfort Inn in Gurnee.
Ooh, it sounds depressing.
Whoa! Not to him. The Comfort Inn was nice. Listen to this exchange. This is funny because he goes, it was the Comfort Inn in Gurnee. And he goes, ooh, rough. And wait till you hear this guy's response to that.
Inn in Gurnee.
Ooh, it sounds depressing.
Well, you have to remember it was 99.
Yeah. No,
what does that mean? What do you mean you have to remember it's 99? No, the Comfort Inn was nice in 99? Or there weren't that many cool hotels back then? Or Obama wasn't president rich, so we had to go to the Comfort Inn? He couldn't be more disgusted about this Comfort Inn detail.
And it was close to the Great Lakes Naval facilities.
yeah.
Okay.
But
what do you need that for?
I got dropped off. They left. The next day was somewhat interesting because he ends up showing up at my hotel room, which I thought was somewhat weird, but
He wanted some more. Mm-hmm. So when you say he showed up.
So maybe they had a highway journey. You know, I used to do this when I was a kid. I had a car. I was supposed to be going to school with the car, right? At my school, you would take Milwaukee Avenue from my house to get to the school. But if you just kept going straight down Milwaukee Avenue, guess where you'd get, Jules, in an hour?
Where?
Gurnee. I remember this. I would start listening to music and I'd be pulling up. Here's Milwaukee Avenue. Here's the school. I'd go, and I would just tell my parents I was at school. But meanwhile, I just drove to Gurnee and then a little bit further to, Wisconsin and stuff. And then you drive back. By the time you're home, that was the end of the school day. You just drove around all day. Maybe they drove from Chicago to Gurnee because it's a nice drive to just do cocaine and blow people in the back. I mean, it's a nice open highway all the way from Chicago. Interesting. I don't know why they went to Gurnee, but they did. And then Obama came back to Gurnee, an hour and a half.
I fucking guess so.
So he went all the way back to Chicago, back to Gurnee. See, people don't know about this Gurnee. There's a big hole in the story here.
He showed up. I mean, I had no warning. I was in the room. There's a knock on the door. I opened the door and he's standing there.
Whoa!
and he's standing there with more Coke, and he comes in, and it was just like a quick.
Was he wearing a suit or like?
I know. I always imagine him in the suit.
What is he wearing?
He pulls it out. The bag goes. Is he in a suit? What is he wearing? Is he wearing African sweatshirts?
Did he say, "Let me be clear"?
What was he wearing?
Like, he's not giving very many.
And how did he get any sleep?
Obama details. Like, you got to tell us something that only Obama would do.
He's on coke. He's doing coke all night. Goes back to Chicago, and then you're telling me in the morning he got up after not sleeping at all, doing coke all night, and drove all the way back to Gurney to see you? And you look just like this? Hopefully, back then. In 99, the only thing different about you is your hair was a little
Can we see a
brown.
pic of you then?
Yeah, I would love to see what you look like in 99. Were you wearing this red shirt?
Rehash or rerun from the night before.
Exact same program.
Exact same program.
Was he smoking again?
Yep.
So Barack Obama smokes crack, and then you perform
Yep.
oral sex on him.
And like I said, the only reason I had come out about it is I had reached out to the campaign even in 2007.
Why?
Only because I saw all these kids getting excited about it.
Okay, wait. So
Okay, is that basically enough of this?
Go to 16 minutes there. I just thought this part was funny. This is what Tucker says after hearing all of this.
16, okay. Oh. We're stuck. The timeline is no longer showing me. It's not moving now. Let's see what happens. Oh.
Well, after hearing
This
all
is
this,
Twitter
Tucker
video.
goes,
Uh-oh. I've been kicked off. That's enough for X.
After hearing all this, Tucker goes, amazing, amazing. And it's like, what's amazing? Why
Well,
is it
amazing. He's got a hit video on his hands. So, Barack Obama, we're waiting.
He needs
We need to respond.